Hello library friends, I'm Miss Liz. This is Book Briefs, and you may notice we're in a different location. And you may also notice that the format's changed a bit. We're going to be doing a monthly book brief, so I'm going to highlight a couple of books for you today. So hang tight, it's going to be a little bit longer, but we're going to give you some really good book suggestions that you should keep an eye out for this month. Starting off with the nonfiction book called Plague Year by Lawrence Wright. It's coming out on June 8th and it should be on our shelves pretty soon after that. And you can probably guess from the title what it's about. It is a retrospective look at the last year, specifically focused on the United States and how the United States handled the pandemic. So it looks at things like the government response to the pandemic, medical responses to the pandemic. It also takes a look at vaccination, the history of vaccination, and how we got to where we are today with vaccines, and some of the views and thoughts people have on that. So if you're ready to, I know it's a lot, but if you're ready to take a look at what has happened in the last year and hopefully get some things put in perspective and really think about how things went and how maybe we can do better in the future, I would definitely suggest you check out Plague Year by Lawrence Wright. My second suggestion is another nonfiction. Yes, another nonfiction about the pandemic. I'm sorry, but they were two great books that came out this month about it, and I thought they sort of served as good counterpoints to each other. And this one is Life on the Line, Young Doctors Come of Age in a Pandemic by Emma Goldberg, which also comes out on June 8th and will be on our shelves soon after that. And instead of taking a broad retrospective look about how the nation as a whole handled the pandemic, this goes down to the personal level and looks at 6 medical students who graduated early from medical school to help with the understaffed Bellevue Hospital and Montefiore Medical Center in April 2020. So you can imagine going from med student to doctor is stressful anyway. You have a lot more responsibility. You literally have people's lives in your hands. But this is becoming a doctor in the middle of a pandemic with a disease that no one really knows how to treat. Everyone still has a lot of questions about how it spreads. What are the best practices for dealing with it, and what are the best practices to keep you as a doctor who is in constant contact with people who are sick safe. So if you're looking for a more personal drama, a more intimate look at the things that were happening specifically to doctors during the pandemic last year, you should definitely check out Life on the Line by Emma Goldberg. And now it's time for a couple of fiction suggestions for you, starting with 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, which is coming out June 8th and will be on our shelves soon after that. And it is the love story of 2 authors, Eva Mercy, who is a best-selling erotica author, and Shane Hall, who is an award-winning literary author. Those are 2 very different genres. But when the 2 meet at an author event, everyone is absolutely shocked when sparks fly between the 2 of them. And everyone's like, how can this be? What will happen? Will they? Won't they? But Shane and Eva actually know each other. They have actually been involved before. Before You write this book off as a fairly typical romance, including the old flame who comes back, should you trust the person who broke your heart once, Tia Williams also puts in a lot of social commentary in this book. She talks about the Black experience, especially in the literary scene and just living life. She talks about motherhood and a lot of other issues. So if you want some romance and a little bit of social commentary, you should definitely check out 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. My second fiction suggestion is a sneaky psychological thriller. It is called The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Delia Harris. It is about Nella, who works at Wagner Books, and she's absolutely delighted to learn that Hazel is going to be starting. Because Hazel is, as the title suggests, the other black girl. And Nella is tired of putting up with the microaggressions, the subtle racism that she finds all over her workplace and Wagner books. So she is really looking forward to having someone who understands what she's going through, a companion, an ally, someone who she can form this deep bond with that she doesn't feel like she can have with the other people in her office. But things don't really work out the way she hopes, because through a series of events, Hazel actually ends up becoming the office darling, and Nella finds herself kind of on the outs with the office. But things get worse. She begins to find notes saying that she should leave Wagner, leave her job, and she's wondering who is doing this. Is it Hazel? It couldn't possibly be, but maybe it is. And then things get worse, and she begins to think that it may not just be her job at stake. And this may seem like a kind of a low stakes psychological thriller, but dealing with a sort of hostile workplace or workplace where you feel underappreciated or you have to put up with a lot is something probably we can all relate to. I'm really excited about this one because it sounds like it has, as usual, a lot of good social commentary. It also sounds like it's going to be a genuinely good thriller from reading the synopsis, so I'm excited to see this one. Thanks for joining me today for Book Briefs. Remember, we're switching from a weekly format to a monthly format, so I will not have another edition of Book Briefs ready for you until July. But I'm not covering just one book per Book Briefs, we're doing multiple. So I will see you guys in July with more books. As a disclaimer, I've not read any of these books yet. I'm giving you information that the publishers have put out and information that I have gathered from reviews I have read about the books to just give you guys a little brief snapshot of some of the new books that are coming into our system. While you cannot physically browse the shelves, we want to give you a way to kind of virtually get an idea of what's on our shelves. And as a reminder, the books I talked about today were Plague Year by Lawrence Wright, Life on the Line, Young Doctors Come of Age in a Pandemic by Emma Goldberg, 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, and The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Delia Harris. Thank you guys for joining me today, and I will see you on the next Book Briefs in July.